Welcome to the RadioU Podcast. Coming up, are you ever too old to eat ice cream from a cone?
Also, the NBA 2K Leave No Doubt cover is giving Leave all the room for doubt.
All that and more on the way next. Hollywood is at it again. They're making a live-action remake of another classic. This time, Night at the Museum.
Live action? It already was live action.
But is the new version also going to be live action?
Is it going to be animated?
No. 8772 Radio U. By the way, didn't they make a Night at the Museum like cartoon?
I have no idea.
I'm pretty sure they did.
But the OG, Ben Stiller, live action.
Yeah, and they're doing it again.
Why? With somebody else?
I'll tell you why. The almighty dollar. That's why. Because it seems to be working. Lilo and Stitch and How to Train Your Dragon have been making tons of money. And so why stop there? So now Night at the Museum is going to get its own live action. I mean, it is live action. You're right. But it is going to get its own remake. They are bringing it back. Obviously, this is just in the very early stages. But they already know who the writer is. Somebody I've never heard of, whose credits are not impressive to me. But no judgment. And I can't imagine that Ben Stiller is probably going to be involved. It says that it's going to be set at an entirely different museum altogether.
Okay, so not in New York anymore.
No, well, maybe, but not at this same museum.
Yeah, not that. Okay, well, I mean, I'm not opposed, I guess, but I just feel like, why?
I told you.
I know, but I don't like that reason.
That's the reason to do anything.
But why?
That's the reason they made the first one.
Well, I mean,
you can poo-poo on it, but...
Sure, you make movies to make money, but why not just come up with something entirely new?
Because that's hard.
I know, but I feel like it would have better dividends than,
I don't know.
Constantly running back to the same material.
What do we talk about this in so many different walks of life that we talked about it with Fire Festival yesterday. You could try to sell some kind of original movie at 20th Century Studios, and maybe it's a really good idea. But if nobody's ever heard of it before, it's already starting at the Night at the Museum reboot has a big advantage because people that are going to the theaters already know what we're talking about.
Yeah, but I'm also not happy with a lot of these remakes and a lot of these reboots because it just flies in the face of the original, and so it's like not honoring to the memory of the original, and also in some circumstances makes me like overall not happy about the franchise. Maybe
this one, because it's not the same as How to Train Your Dragon or Lilo and Stitch, where they're taking there's going to be at a different museum, different actors,
totally new story.
Yeah, so this is truly a reboot rather than a remake. Basically a tribute is what the new How to Train Your Dragon and Lilo and Stitch are.
Yeah, that's
so hopefully it has the cachet, but it'll have some distance from the Ben Stiller version, and so we can view it as its own thing.
I mean, that is better than trying to remake the original, try to recast. You can't recast Robin Williams. You can't recast Ben Stiller.
It did have a great cast: Owen Wilson, Dick Van Dyke, Steve Coogan, Amy Adams, Hank Azaria, Dan Stevens. It had some great actors in it.
Absolutely amazing actors in it. And so I love that, especially the first one. So, I mean, again, like I said, I'm not opposed, I guess, if it's going to be a totally new story, but still.
It's this is where the money is. And we just keep, I'm looking at the box office. We just keep forking it over. So I can't blame them.
Yeah.
I can't blame them. Controversy is coming to the cover of NBA 2K26, was just announced. No surprise that SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander of the Oklahoma City Thunder, gets the main cover. He did everything this year.
Yeah.
Why would he not get the cover?
Right.
But he is not alone. There's also the Superstar Edition with Carmelo Anthony. Love to see that. Syracuse, as a Syracuse fan. But then the WNBA Edition. Who are they going to choose? They went with Angel Reese.
Oh my gosh.
8772 Radio U. Angel Reese winds up as the cover for the WNBA edition, and then on the Leave No Doubt edition, you get all three in NBA 2K26.
Yeah, that was the cover I saw, which was the Leave No Doubt one, which had all three of them. And
Can I be honest? Visually, that's a mess.
It's a mess. It doesn't make a lot of sense. No. And also, I'm sorry, Angel Reese stands out like a sore thumb in that, because you're looking at two, one going to be a legend, one already legend in Carmelo Anthony, and then Angel Reese is just there, and you're like, is she really worthy of this?
She's 3-time BET Sportswoman of the Year.
I know, and we talked about that because we were like, why is she getting this award when there's all these other amazing, accomplished women in this category? Why does she keep winning this?
I'll be honest, I don't really have a big... I'm not really upset about this.
I just think there's a lot of other women in the NBA that I would have picked before Angel Reese.
But this has no meaning to it. It's just a cover. And so this is just to get people to pay attention. And she is one of the top two. It's her and Caitlin Clark that are going to get people to pay attention. You can't make Caitlin Clark everything.
No,
And also, she's hardly been playing this year. So let's let Angel Reese have a time.
I'm not even arguing that it should have been Caitlin Clark. But I do think that, there's probably some better players that you could have picked, because the cover says Leave No Doubt. The Chicago Sky are one of the worst teams in the WNBA. I have lots of doubts. I have so many doubts.
But leave no doubt that Caitlin Clark is going to get you to talk about NBA 2K26.
You mean Angel Reese?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, but you pay attention to Angel Reese. We could put, for as much as, I know some other WNBA players, but you put just about any other player on the cover of WNBA 2K26, and I'm going to go, who's that? People are going to go, who's that?
Right.
You see Angel Reese on there, you're like, that's Angel Reese. You know who it is.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. They are the two most recognizable players from the WNBA.
Yeah.
So those were kind of probably the only two options you have. And either way, you're going to make people upset, because you're going to make people upset that feel like Angel Reese doesn't deserve to be there. And then if you would have chosen Caitlin Clark, you would have been made people upset that they say she didn't deserve to be there. So overall, it's just annoying when it comes down to that argument. But I will say, it's just like looking at the accomplishments of the other two players that are there, it's like, does she really deserve to be up there with them? That's kind of what I'm thinking.
It's a cover. There's no such thing as deserve.
Well, I'm just saying.
It's just a poster.
I'm just saying, you look at the accomplishments of the other two players, and then you see Angel Reese's accomplishments, and it's just like, okay, yeah, she's got the recognizability in the WNBA, but that's kind of it.
I also, covers of sports games have just been devalued too.
Yeah,
because they put out 3 or 5
right. They
or
put
whatever.
out lots of versions.
Yeah, this particular instance, you've got 4 different covers for one game, and by the way, you don't even have physical, nobody buys a physical copy of a game anyways.
Right.
So it's just a little card that's going to come up when you load the game on your Xbox or your PS5, PS6, whatever number we're on. And so, what does it even mean?
Right.
It's just a little image. It's not even printed out anywhere.
Right.
So why are we even talking about this?
You picked this.
I hope you're hungry, because there's a new Cinnamon Toast Crunch flavor coming to Walmart. 8772 Radio U. Bacon Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Oh, so we're getting the reverse of a food fight that we tried months ago.
Yeah.
Where we tried cinnamon toast flavored bacon, which was delicious.
Fall of last year was the Hormel Black Label Cinnadust blasted bacon.
Oh, that was so good.
Which was amazing. And so now they're flipping the script, and while supplies last, for a limited time, exclusively at Walmart, you can get 6-ounce packages of bacon-flavored Cinnamon Toast Crunch inspired by Hormel Black Label bacon.
We got to get our hands on this.
I know. I've been looking for it. I don't think it's made its way to our Walmarts quite yet, but I'll tell you what, man. the reaction to this online has not been as kind as ours has been.
Oh, really? People aren't excited, or they tried it and they didn't like it?
No, they're not excited. They're mad that Cinnamon Toast Crunch is making a bacon flavor.
Why would you be mad about that?
I know. Obviously, they never had the Cinnamon Toast Crunch bacon.
You didn't taste the gloriousness of it because it was so good, people.
Now, I can agree that making a savory bacon sweet definitely sounds like a better idea than making a sweet cereal savory.
Yeah.
Or salty even. But they earned a lot of goodwill. They earned a lot of goodwill with me by making that Cinnamon Toast Crunch bacon so good.
Right. At least try it before you say it's no good or say it's a terrible idea. You need to try it first.
People are saying things like, America is not a real place. Who asked for this flavor? Or, every day we stray further from God's light.
Whoa!
Or, what is wrong with you, General Mills and Walmart? We're losing healthcare in America. And you're like, let's keep giving them multiple cinnamon bacon mixes. I don't know why would this make you mad? Even if you didn't like bacon or Cinnamon Toast Crunch, or you don't want them to mix, like, it's just a cereal, man.
Yeah, it's just a cereal. There's no need to panic about
Also, what does it have to do with healthcare?
Right? There's no need to pull this and make it political. So, yeah, that's a crazy reaction from the public here.
I feel like, I don't know, I just feel so mellow today. Like, if people getting upset about all these things, and I'm over here like Cinnamon Toast Crunch, bacon flavored Cinnamon Toast Crunch sounds fun.
Yeah, you're over here like, let's make Cinnamon Toast Crunch cereal that's flavored like bacon and put Angel Reese on the cover.
Let's do it, yeah. I would have no issues with that whatsoever.
That sounds like you today, for sure.
And then have them eat it in Night at the Museum, a new version of Night at the Museum, starring Angel Reese. It's time to say goodbye to some members of the military that have served basically since its beginning. Believe it or not, horses. The United States. The United States is putting an end to the military working EQID program. EQID, yeah. Which I don't know. When I saw the numbers on this, I was surprised. They are redirecting the $2 million that currently gets funneled to the horse program, and they're going to reappropriate that to different areas of the military, different unspecified areas. But I was thinking like $2 million actually seems so low, even though I can't imagine the horses play a very integral role at this point in any part of the military.
Right.
Besides ceremonial stuff.
Yes.
But still, I'm like, how did we only spend $2 million of all of our military budget on one little thing like that?
I think over time it's probably definitely gone down as far as the need for horses in the military. And they are still keeping 2 teams that will be ceremonial. So like one in Arlington Cemetery. And then another one I think is going to be in Texas where they'll have ceremonial horses that will be used for whatever the military ends up needing them for some type of ceremony. So there will still be somewhat of an EQID program.
Token horses.
Yeah.
But the horses, and honestly, I don't know. The horses are probably glad about this. Like,
I was going to say, we don't want them to be in warfare anymore. I don't want the horses to get hurt.
That wouldn't be good for us or the horses.
Right.
We'd be at a severe disadvantage against other places probably if we were running horses into battle in any way, which I'm sure like that hasn't come up in, I don't know. There should be, I wish we had that detail. Like, what was the last time anybody in the American military actually used a horse in warfare?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know.
Like, I have to imagine it's. I mean, at least since World War II, but probably even before that, right?
Yeah, I would think so.
Like we have tanks and planes,
right?
And even if anything that those two can't cover, like you're probably doing on feet.
Right. Well, because even this article, the picture it shows of like a horse being used for radio communication, like it's holding radio communication devices, it's from like World War I.
Yeah.
So it's like, how have we been using them since then?
It has to be all ceremonial, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much. Which, again, that's not going away. That is remaining. So I'm like, what were the other horses even being used for?
Yeah.
But I'm imagining that most of these horses that are now no longer going to be, in the equid program for the military are just going to be able to go retire in a beautiful pasture somewhere.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope that's what happens to them.
I hope so, too.
Yeah. It must be the last several centuries must be difficult for horses.
Yeah.
Like it's all they've ever known is
war?
No, I don't mean just the war horses, but just like they were transportation. They were our cars, but
yes.
they were living cars.
Yep.
And now, as time continues to pass, horses are losing all of their worth in human eyes, anyways.
Right.
What are we gonna do with them?
I know. It's like they have to be feeling a little bit more useless now.
Yeah, neglected. Like, yeah, there's only so many islands that are exclusively occupied by wild horses.
Maybe we need to let some more out in the West again.
You think so?
There were so
Just
many
herds
wild
of
horses out west many, years ago. And I think there still are a few wild horses that are, like in, I don't know, do you call them herds of horses?
I think so.
Okay.
We know so little about horses.
It's
We are
true.
not horse girls.
I'm not a horse girl. Didn't grow up near horses or on a farm or anything like that. But I do love the movie Spirit.
I'm with you. Let's just, instead of like putting them in some kind of ranch somewhere, let's just set them free. Let them go and try to repopulate the horse population.
Yeah.
I think that sounds fun.
Yes.
Thank you to all the military horses for their service over the last 250 years.
Yes.
We were just talking about how the U.S. military is getting rid of, well, that's a nice way to say it, I feel. We're no longer going to be using horses anymore. Like the horse program, they call it the equid program.
Yeah.
Going away.
Yeah. And these are like horses used in military skirmishes.
Yeah. There'll be 2 horse teams, but those are going to be entirely like ceremonial, nothing to do with actual battle. We were wondering when was the last time horses were actually used in battle. And Michael texted in at 8772 Radio U and said it was 1942. We did a little more digging on it. That was World War II in the Philippines fighting against Japan is the last time that we actually used trained military horses.
Had like a cavalry charge.
Yeah. And then in 2001, we used horses going up invading Afghanistan, but those were local horses there, not our horses. So,
yeah, that was not the cavalry.
So a different thing entirely.
Yeah.
And so it is interesting that it took almost 100 years for us to go, we probably won't need these again.
We don't really want to.
Yeah.
We don't need, And I feel like, again, I personally don't really like the idea of horses getting injured in war, and so I'm okay with this, even though it does feel sad.
Do you watch movies? When I watch movies, like people get concerned about dogs, and you want to know, like, does the dog die?
Yeah.
Like that's a whole
in
thing
all the horror movies.
But I feel like the same way about horses.
Horses in war movies, I'm
watching
always
like
nervous.
The Last of Us, and I'm like, but what about the horses though?
Right.
The horses didn't ask for this.
Right. I think about that a lot in war movies, and I think I mentioned to you this off the air a couple days ago. When I was, I think I was probably like 15 years old, I visited Gettysburg, the Battle of Gettysburg, for the first time ever, like where it took place, Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. And they have this panoramic painting that you can go and view. So it's all around you, 360, and it shows you the battlefield. And the amount of horses on the battlefield that were dead or dying.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking, actually.
Yeah, it is.
And so, you're just like, oh, the loss of life, not only human life, but also animal life is crazy. So, yeah, I'm okay with them not being in military skirmishes anymore.
Yeah.
And battle just looks different now. Like, we really aren't using a lot of, human force really much anymore. We're using a lot of drones and missiles and things like that.
Right.
And so the thought of horses being used, it is kind of like it's old.
Yeah. It is, like I said, shocking that we've gone this long still having any kind of relation to horses in the military at all that wasn't purely, that there were some horses supposedly, I guess, even if it was just a few, kept as like, we might need these one day.
Someday.
We're going to have to train them, spend all this time. Like, that was unnecessary. We're opening up the RadioU hotline.
877-2-RADIO-U.
Do adults eat ice cream in cones?
Like an ice cream cone.
Would you get, at what age do you stop ordering ice cream in a cone and just go with a bowl?
I feel like I still do both.
You still do both.
I think I prefer bowls, but this summer I went to a local to Ohio ice cream shop and I got a waffle cone.
That's interesting. The reason I bring this up is there's a account I follow on Twitter. It's one of my favorite accounts, Message Board Geniuses.
Okay.
It's they post screenshots of guys posting on college football team message boards.
Oh no.
and most of it is it's like all of that just the nonsense and the conspiracy theories that these guys weave.
Yeah.
But I hate to say, when they posted this screenshot from VolQuest that I kind of was like, does this guy have a point?
VolQuest is in like Tennessee Volunteers.
Yeah.
Okay. What did he say?
He said, ice cream should never be eaten in a cone if you are over 12 years of age. Respectable adults always choose a cup. And I'm like, at first you want to be mad, but I'm like, actually, he kind of has a point.
I don't know what exactly why. What's the reasoning behind you can't have a cone as an adult?
It's much messier.
Oh, it absolutely is messier, but as a kid, you can't handle the mess.
Yeah, but for a kid, it's like the very minor improvement or the fun that is added by having a cone. Like, it makes it a little more fun. It kind of tastes good. But as an adult, it's extra calories and more likely to make a mess. And
how much extra calories is the cone?
For what gain?
I agree with you that I think bowls are definitely more convenient, but I just don't think it's off limits for adults to have cones or like some in some way embarrassing for an adult to have a cone. I don't think that at all.
It's not embarrassing. I'm looking here. Sugar cone, which is the worst of all cones, is 60 calories.
Yeah, that's nothing. Your ice cream alone is like 3-4 times that.
But what are you gaining from that?
I don't know.
Sugar cones don't even taste good at all.
I don't choose to have sugar cones, but like I don't mind, the ice cream shop that I just had a cone from not too long ago was Grater's. It was a waffle cone. Waffle cones I think are pretty good.
Waffle cone, 121 calories.
Yeah, you eat that thing and it's good.
Is it good?
I liked it.
Is it better than the ice cream? Like, isn't the ice cream good enough?
No, but you can't eat your bowl.
No, you can't, but I don't think you need to.
But I'm just saying, like, there's nothing wrong with eating a cone. That's what it's meant for.
It is a sign of a grown-up that you just get your...
I think kids honestly should get bowls because they can't handle the mess of a cone.
Susanna says, Jenny's says ice cream should be eaten from a cone because it is more properly tasted by licking.
Okay.
Let's see. Michael says, I'm definitely a bowl over a cone person. I think the last time I had a cone was, I don't even know how many years ago. I don't really like the texture, Michael says. My parents are in their 70s and they still eat cones, though.
Yeah, I was going to say my parents, they still eat ice cream cones. My dad does.
Andrea says, driving, eating a cone.
That's a real messy way to go.
I don't know. I haven't had ice cream in a cone in a long time. And I don't know. I just thought he had a point. I thought he had a point.
I think it's personal preference because, like I said, I do prefer a bowl over a cone because I think at the end of the day, a bowl, you're getting more ice cream than you are in a cone. But I don't think there's anything wrong with having a cone, and I do think adults can handle it better. You're going to get less messy than a kid is with a cone.
Rebecca has just twisted this. Yeah, but when you're a kid, you don't care about mess. Rebecca has twisted this around, though, to actually make it very adult to get a cone.
Okay.
She says, I get cones because they produce less waste and trash.
Oh, that's a good point.
There you go.
Eat the whole thing.
That's the adult. That's the way to make a cone an adult thing.
Yes.
Sure, it's wasted calories. It doesn't taste that good, but it's saving the planet. I like how you're thinking. But what if the bowl is washable?
Or what if the bowl is edible? I've seen those before. The edible bowls.
Lots of people sharing opinions on whether it's acceptable or respectable to have ice cream in a cone as an adult. Allie, so many people have so many opinions on this.
It's true. Everyone's very passionate about their ice cream cones, and they don't like when you come after them.
Apparently not. And I don't know. I feel like people are getting a little too defensive. Like having to justify.
We had no idea that this would cause so much intense debate.
But Jamie says that him and his wife both still get cones, but their kids get bowls because it's much easier to clean.
And I think that's absolutely true, that, kids actually probably would benefit better from having the bowls.
Kids under 12 shouldn't have cones, is what Jamie says.
Yeah, because they can't handle it. I
know, but that's part of the fun.
But do you really want to have to clean your entire child from having ice cream all over their face and clothes?
Kids are always dirty. If it's not the ice cream, it's something else.
Yeah, you really don't know what it is.
Yeah,
You're going to be doing some guesswork.
If you're giving him ice cream, that's part of the experience.
Yeah, I don't think there's any reason why you can't give cones to kids.
Although, I guess...
But it is very messy when kids... especially in the summertime, it's all melting all over their hands.
I've seen kids go for the bottom of the cone before the ice cream. And you have to feel for the parents at that point.
Yes.
You do.
Yes, that's just rough. Man, the amount of wasted ice cream from me eating cones as a kid just because I couldn't finish it in time and it's just melting over the sides.
Yeah.
Ugh, crazy.
Sue says you're never too old for a cone. Even if you don't have teeth, you can gum it.
I love it. That's so funny. Heard from Daryl. He says, I completely disagree. What's the point of having ice cream if you can't enjoy the experience? Cone anytime.
Yeah. So that no matter what age you are, it's part of the experience is having that. But I don't know. We'll keep going with more text, but I feel like what I'm starting to feel is that I kind of am just anti-cone overall. I guess, I don't want to yuck your yum. No judgment if you like it. But also, I just feel like the cones are so... The ice cream is already so good, and the cone is so secondary to me.
I understand why some view it that way. I think it's just preference. What do you prefer? Mm-hmm. People sometimes like to have the crunch with the soft.
Sure.
So that is something you experience with the cone.
William says cones are okay for both adults and kids. If adults get waffle cones, you could get a waffle bowl.
Yeah, that's what I was saying too with Rebecca's comment about, it's better with less waste to have the cone. Waffle bowls exist as well, so you can get the best of both worlds. A bowl that is edible and, it's adding the crunch and all of that, but it's still a bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
William also says sugar cones are for kids only, though.
Sugar cones.
Yeah, the sugar cones are
I don't know when the last time I had a sugar cone was. I'm definitely, if I'm getting a cone, it's a waffle cone.
Yeah. Sure says best of both worlds waffle bowl, so he's on that.
He's on that train too.
And I like Michael, who says if you're getting get a souvenir bowl at a ball game and you won't throw that away.
Oh yeah, the one that looks like the baseball hat or the helmet.
Yeah,
I love those.
And that feels so childish, but.
But it's so fun.
Yeah, that's better than a cone to me.
Yeah, it's so fun.
Even if it's a team I don't like.
Yes. I still have one sitting on my desk when we did our food fight with Velvet, or not with Velvet, with Grater's Ice Cream.
Uh-huh.
They brought us in some of those bowls that look like baseball hats.
Yeah.
And I still have one, and it's just sitting on my desk.
That even as a kid, I would rather have a little baseball helmet bowl than eating a cone. Which is it's coming back to me just not liking cones.
Apparently. And again, I'm kind of on that boat too, but I don't have anything against cones. I still enjoy a waffle cone.
You go to the store and you see them having all the cones dipped in all the stuff. Doesn't that tell you that maybe the cones just aren't that good on their own? First or worst, where Allie and I get to choose our first and worst choices from a given topic. Today's topic, DC and Marvel movie supervillains.
Yeah.
You get to decide which of us chooses better and which picks we missed. I get to pick first. I'm not going to overthink this. The Joker is the best. If we had to pick a specific portrayal, I could even think you could pick 2 or 3 of the Joker portrayals as the best.
Okay, but it actually is important which one you pick. I want to know which one you think. Just for fun. Not that matters in the
It's
voting.
hard to not go against Heath Ledger, but I also really love Joaquin Phoenix. And Jack Nicholson's is great, too.
I was going to say, Jack Nicholson's portrayal is actually one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably nostalgic just because I loved Batman 1989 so much, but a lot of people sleep on that one.
Yeah. He shouldn't be forgotten.
No.
So the Joker is obvious. And I think for a good villain, you need to they need to have motivations that actually make sense.
Yeah.
And like the Joker, you kind of understand
Yes.
why he is the way he is. Now let's talk about the worst. Enchantress from Suicide Squad.
Oh, yeah, that was bad.
Everything about that movie was bad. We're talking Suicide Squad, not the Suicide Squad,
Yes.
which was fine, actually pretty good. Enchantress, what does she even do? They got Cara Delevingne to play that role. Does she even say anything?
I mean,
she just kind of like
she danced around.
gyrates and has like bad CGI around her.
Oh, man, that movie was terrible.
So bad.
So terrible.
So
yeah.
that's my pick.
I can agree with you on that for sure. Okay, for my first, I'm going with the granddaddy of them all, Thanos, for the best supervillain. I just think the stakes for a supervillain do need to kind of be elevated. I really thought about the Joker because I think he probably is my favorite comic book villain.
Yeah.
And he certainly has been fleshed out a lot in recent movies. I love Joaquin Phoenix's portrayal of the Joker with that more like focus on mental health aspects. It took a really interesting and dark turn with the Joker there. And Heath Ledger, great. Jack Nicholson, as we pointed out, great as well. But I think for supervillain, the one I go to is Thanos in movie portrayals just because of the stakes being so high for him.
Well, also, it's supervillains should actually feel like a challenge to the people that are in the
And
superheroes.
he almost won.
And spoiler alert.
Yeah, it's been a few years now, so hopefully you've seen that. And also, I'm a huge Josh Brolin fan, and I think he does a great job voicing Thanos. It comes across as like weirdly familiar to you, but also like menacing and intense. So I think Josh Brolin does a good job voicing Thanos. I don't know if it's mocap at all. I can't remember if he did any motion capture with that. For worst, I'm going with Malekith, the Dark Elf from Thor: The Dark World.
Oh, another bad movie.
Oh, it was so bad and a terrible villain. Didn't make any sense as far as like the story and what he was doing. He was trying to use an Infinity Stone to put the 9 realms into darkness, and you're just like, what is going on?
Yeah.
So, I think he definitely stands out
Even
as
just
one
being
of.
called the Dark Elf.
Yeah,
it's tough.
A bad look.
Yeah.
Not a great memorable look, and just not a memorable movie at all.
All right, 8772 Radio U, first and worst movie supervillains. I have the Joker as first and Enchantress from Suicide Squad as worst. Allie, you have
Thanos as first and Malekith, the accursed leader of the Dark Elves, as worst.
8772 Radio U. Whose choices are better and which choices did we miss? Let us know. We'll see what people are saying. We'll start with Lucas, who says Loki is the best villain.
Okay.
And Green Goblin is the worst.
I think Green Goblin was very menacing in that first, of the...
The Tobey Maguire
Yeah, Tobey
Spider-Man.
Maguire, Sam Raimi.
The William Dafoe Green Goblin really scared me.
Oh, it absolutely terrified me as a kid. I had nightmares of that thing coming into my room, like how he came after Aunt May. So, yeah. But,
But Loki's a great pick.
Loki is a great pick. Very devious, the trickster god. He's the main villain in the first Avengers movie, so solid choice there, Lucas.
Yeah.
Heard from Susanna. She says, not very familiar with comic super villains, but she's had more exposure to Batman, so she's going with you, Hudson.
Yay. Thank you, Susanna. Logan says, I am with Hudson on first to worst. Joker is a legend and a menace. He is my favorite villain. I love how all the people that have cast as a Joker have played them. Every single one of them has played them differently. And he truly has lived up to the expectation of a supervillain. That's such a great point that it's not just... it speaks to how good of a character that Joker is, that you can have all these different takes on him and they all make sense.
You can have different portrayals of him.
Even Jared Leto's.
Oh, that one was definitely not great. But Chad pointed out one that I forgot. Mark Hamill voicing the Joker.
Yeah, people love that one.
Fantastic. Mark Hamill has so many great. If you've ever watched any of the animated stuff, usually Mark Hamill is voicing the Joker, and he does an amazing job in all of those. Like The Killing Joke is one I can think of that was very intense and quite good. But Chad, he does say he's going with you because he is a Batman aficionado. But he does give me credit.
He also says the worst is any villain in Batman and Robin, like Arnold as Mr. Freeze. I thought that's so corny. I couldn't,
Yeah.
they weren't even trying to make that serious.
No, they were trying to be joking
funny
about it.
And it was funny, but
Yeah.
Enchantress, there was nothing funny about Enchantress and Suicide Squad.
They were taking themselves too seriously. And I'm not the type of person that likes the jokey comic book stuff. But I like there to be a little bit of levity. But usually I like to go the more darker, serious route, which is why I tend to lean more towards DC, because that's kind of been their MO. But yeah, they were trying to take themselves too seriously with Enchantress and Malekith by making them these, villains that are supposed to be super scary, and it ends up being like the dumbest story you've ever heard. So, yeah.
Chris says the scariest Batman villain, or Joker is the scariest Batman villain, but Penguin is the best because he pretty much gets away with being a legitimate business person.
That's
a good point.
If you've ever watched the Penguin series on HBO Max, I think you gain a lot of respect for Penguin and what he does.
Chris also says he agrees with Ali. Thanos is the best, and the worst is MODOK from the third Ant-Man movie.
Oh, I haven't even seen that third Ant-Man movie.
I forgot about MODOK being in that.
or whatever. Yeah. I completely forgot about that movie. But honestly, this is the one time when I'm willing to just concede and give this to you, because I do agree that Joker is one of the best ever created characters when it comes to comic books.
Right.
And while I wouldn't say he goes into supervillain territory because the stakes are smaller. He's working in Gotham.
Yeah.
But I think just overall, because of how well he's done in comic books and in movies, you just have to give it to him. He's the best villain in maybe all of, movie and film ever.
How many villains get their own movie?
Right.
Yeah, not many.
Not many.
Joker's one of them. So I guess I win. It's official. You can never cancel that gym membership. 8772 Radio U. Maybe that you never can cancel, but you never will, because it's not going to be easy enough. A court has just struck down a rule that was supposed to go into effect next week called the click to cancel rule, where this is something the FTC, Federal Trade Commission, came up with, I think it was last year, that stated that any company that has a subscription service has to make it as easy to cancel as it was to sign up.
Yeah.
Because usually signing up, you just go sign up, and then you put in your card number, and then they'll just take money from you forever.
Right.
But they make the hoops you have to jump through so complicated that either you don't know how, or you just never feel like going through all the hassle.
You thought you canceled it, but actually there was two more pages you had to get through.
This still keeps happening to me with a couple subscriptions. And it cost me like $12 a month for these 3 subscriptions that I just cannot figure out how to stop.
Oh, I hate it.
Now you might be wondering, why the heck did a court strike this rule down?
Right,
it sounds like it'd be so great for all of us.
Yes, this sounds like it should be something that should be for the consumer.
But the problem is, from how I'm reading it, it's not that the court doesn't like the rule. It's not that they think the rule is wrong, but the way that the rule has been rolled out and brought into effect, and basically making it unfair to the companies that have been doing all these unfair practices to us, wouldn't give them the time or the structure to be able to change their ways. And so they have to throw out the whole rule altogether. And start over from square one.
That's so stupid. Just extend the period of time when they need to get it done. What do you mean it's been unfair to the businesses? These businesses have been scamming us out of our money.
In the court's ruling, it says that the FTC skipped steps to issue the rule, including depriving stakeholders of a notable opportunity to dissuade the FTC from adopting the rule as proposed. So they're also saying that they just kind of went into having this rule without giving the companies a chance to argue why they shouldn't have it.
Right. I do remember when we first talked about the FTC passing this, that it was something that had kind of been rushed because it was like the FTC commissioner was on her way out.
Yeah.
And she was trying to get a whole bunch of stuff done. And this was one of them. And we were like, yay, we're so happy about this.
Yeah.
But apparently she skipped a few steps to get it done.
Sometimes in government, not always, if you want to get something done, you have to do it right.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can cut corners.
This
is not one of those times, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for all of us.
Exactly. This is at the expense of the consumer that this continues, because it should be a law that it should be as easy for you to cancel as it is to sign up, because it does feel very predatory how these businesses have this subscription stuff going.
Yeah. Yeah. It just feels ridiculous that you sign up for Planet Fitness pretty easily, and then you have to write a whole thesis on why you want to cancel.
They're
and
like,
then,
you need to send this to this email. And it's like, email?
What? A handwritten address stamped envelope.
Thanks for listening to the RadioU Podcast. Don't forget to rate and review the show.